Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's Benedict here again from BJ Learn. And today in this class, I want us to talk about data profiling. So data profiling is a process of examining, analyzing, and summarizing data to understand its structure, to understand its contents, to understand its quality, and to understand the overall integrity of data. So it also involves assessing the data for patterns, inconsistencies, anomalies, missing values, duplicates, and overall data quality. So in Power BI, profiling is performed in Power Query Editor, where you can explore and clean data before loading it to Power BI reports. So when we are doing data profiling, we have various tools. We have three profiling tools. The first one is rather not valid errors but valid. So column quality provides a summary of valid and empty values. Valid, and then the next error values and empty values for each column distribution. So column distribution displays frequency distribution of unique and non-unique values. So when you talk about unique values, we mean the values that appear once in a column. Like let's say for an example, so we'll see this one practically, but I'm just trying to give an example. Maybe you have in a column within those cells, we have A, B, C, or you have A, B, A, C, then A, D. So you have A, B, A, C, A, D. So the values that appear once in that column will be A, will not be A, or rather will not be A, but will be B, C, and D, because we have A, then we have B, the next time we have A, we have C, we also have A, we have D. So A is appearing 3 times, but you want values that appear once. So we only have B, C, and D as unique values. Then what we also need to understand, we also have distinct values. So distinct values is also being given in column distribution. So distinct values are different values in a column regardless of how many times each value appear. It also removes the duplicates. So like now we can say in a column we have A, B, C, A, D. We have A, B, C, A, D. So A has appeared many times, but now when we are looking for distinct values, we'll only have A, B, C. So A won't be counted the number of times it has appeared, but will be counted once as a distinct value. So we'll just have A, B, C. So again, we also have column profile or column profiling. So this offers deeper insights into column data, including statistics. The statistics here are minimum, maximum, average, standard deviation, the zero values, the error values, the null values. So we have a lot of statistics when we are doing the column profiling. So let's try to see this practically, how it is being done in Power Query Editor. So first what we'll do here, we'll connect our data source. So our data source here, Excel workbook, and then let's connect it to a data profiling as Excel workbook. Then we open. So we have tab 1 here. So the tab 1 is the one we want to use for data profiling. So in our preview here, you can see we have columns from here, then January up to December, meaning we have 13 columns. And then the years here, we have 2011 to 2024. So these are about there are about 13 rows. There are about 13 rows. So for us to be taken to Power Query Editor to do the profiling, what we'll do here, we'll click the transform command, rather the transform data command. So we need to transform data first before we take it to Power BI report. So we'll click the transform data command that will take us to Power Query Editor. Then from here now we need to profile our data, but before we even profile our data, there are those errors that we can always spot. There are those anomalies that we can spot within our data set that we don't need to wait for profiling to bring them out. So like now in our column for January, we have January, and then we have a cell here with the null value. So these are anomalies, or they are errors. When we go to February as well, we have another anomaly where we have the open and closing inverted commas, and another cell is having a null value. So the null values are 0 values. They are empty, rather they are empty. They're not 0 values but empty cells within our data. So Power BI will capture the data for empty cells as null. And then when we go to July as well, we have another area here with the text that written July, and the same applies to August, where we have XYZ as a text data. And then our data, again, before we even start cleaning or profiling, we need to understand that each and every column must have a specific type of data, meaning we must have one single type of data. Like now in the first column, where we have the year column, the 1, 2, 3 is a whole number type of data. So when we click on the 1, 2, 3, you can see we have quite different, or rather we have different options of data types. We have decimal number, fixed, decimal, whole number, percentage, and all that. But in this column, you just want the whole number type of data. When we go to January, because we know these are cells can always be in decimal at times, but again we can just put them in whole number. So when we come here, we'll do whole number. So again applies to February. Also we'll do a whole number. Then when we go to March, we'll also do whole number. So this one's already a whole number. Then let's move to April as well, whole number as well. We go to May, we have whole number. June, whole number. Then when we go to July, we have a general type of data, so we must change it to whole number. The same applies to August. Let's change them to whole numbers. So now you can see when we change them to whole numbers, where we had the XYZ in August now is showing error, meaning already we have error in this column. So let's move to this other column. So you have September is okay, October is okay, November is okay, and December also is okay. So the data types for now, all the columns are in whole number data types. So we have errors, but before we do away the errors, let's see what happens when we try to profile the data. But we know we have errors, so let's see what will happen when we try to do the profiling of data. So we have 3 different tools. We have column quality, column distribution, and column profiling. So we have these tools under the view tab. The view tab is where we have the the profiling tools. So here we have the column quality, column profile, and column distribution. So we said column quality will give us a valid values, error values, and empty values, but will be given in percentages. So let's take this column quality. You can see in the first column we have valid values are 100%. The next column we have 93% with empty as being 7%. In February we have 93% with empty being 7%. The empty here is the null value, but we also have the error value here, which is not being shown in our column quality. So when we move to our right, we have March is okay. April we have 93% valid values and 7% empty. May is okay. June 93% with empty being 7%. July we have 100% valid values, but there's an error still in that column, so it has not been captured within our column quality tool. So we have August, we have 93% and 7% as empty values. An error is also there, but it has not been captured. Then we have September, October, November, and December, where October we have 93% valid values and empty value being 7%. So we said that column quality gives a summary of valid values, error values, and empty values, and these are what we have here, with valid values being having a dot of green, or rather blue or green, and then error values having red, and then empty values is having black or gray. So let's go to column distribution. So we said column distribution will display the frequency distribution of unique values and non-unique values within each and every column. So when I click on, when I take this column distribution command, you can see where we have the where we do not have any error. Where we don't have any error, you'll see there are distinct values and unique values. So when we move across, we have the first column here, and then we have March, we have April, we have May, we have June. July is having an expected error. August we have an error. September is okay. October is okay, and then November, December is also okay, but still valid values we have 93% for October and empty values being 7%. So where we don't have the column distribution, so the column distribution is showing the distinct values and the unique values. So this one we can see, but where we don't have them, those columns have errors. So the data profiling help us to spot data before we even load it into Power BI reports. So we have January, February, we have August, rather we have July, we have August. Those are having error values, and we also have these other values that are having the null values, where we have the empty at 7%. So first, let me try to click on this. Okay, before I click, let me just click on tick the column profile. So the column profile will give us the statistics of each and every column. So let me start with the first column. Here we have the year. So here we have the column quality is given, the column distribution is given distinct values and the unique values, and then the column profile is also given. We have the column statistics and value distribution. So value distribution is being given in column profile. So when I go to January, we have an expected error. So an expected error here is it's showing that we have rather the column distribution, rather column distribution is not given, and then the column profile is also not giving the value distribution, and then the column statistics, we are not given the full values or full statistics. We've only been given count, error, and empty, meaning that we have a problem with column 2, and the problem is just this error that we have in the second row. So what we need to do, we need to clear the errors first, then we'll come back and see if this column profiling will work as it should be. So first, let's try to undo the applied steps, or let's try to see what we have as an error. See, the error here is written January, but we had changed the column data type to whole number. So let's see if we can rectify the error first, is when we come and change the data type. So first we'll undo the applied steps, the change data type. So I will cancel this change data type. So when I cancel it, you can see now all our columns have been taken back to general data types, meaning no specific data type. So first I want to do away with this text data before I change the columns into specific data types. I want to make sure that each and every column we have the right data. So here we'll change January to I will click on this cell written January, then I will go to home tab. Then I want to replace the values. So let's assume we know the values for January, so we'll just pick random figures, assuming that those are the figures that we know that should be for January sales within that specific year. So here we'll write 25,789, then I will replace. So let's assume the null values first. So again I will go to February. Also I have a null value. So let's untick first the distribution, rather the profiling tools. So when I go to February again, I will click on this cell where we have open and closing inverted commas. I will go to home tab, then transform commands. I want to replace the values. So here again I want to assume that the sales values for that particular cell is 34,678. Then okay, then I will go again to another column where we have an error. So I'll go again to July. So July again, I will click this cell for row 12 and a column for July. Then I will replace the values. So we are assuming we know the sales for July within that period. So this will be 31,890. So this I'm just trying to gauge the figures. So we are assuming that those are the figures that we got from our books as sales for that particular month within that year. Then I also go to August. So August also replace the XYZ. So this will be 24,567 assumed figure. Then we change when we go to October, September, November, we don't have anything. So let's see what we'll have as when we try to profile our data before we change them to the specific data types. So let's see what will happen. So column quality. So now we have column quality. We have January is having a problem, empty. We have February is having empty figure. We have April having null value. June is also having null. We have August having null. We have October having null, and the rest are okay. So again, let's try to replace the null values. So where we don't have the null values, we can assume that the sales of that particular month was 0, which is again impossible because we are dealing with sales within a given period, so it cannot be 0. So let's assume we know the figures, or we can as well use the average figures. So when we come here, let's assume we want to use the average figures. The average figures for given known values. So we'll come to January here, then we go to column profile. So column profile is still not giving the distribution. The reason being because we've not changed it to a specific data type. So let's do away with let's untick the column profile first. So let's change all these data values to specific data types within each and every column. So you want to use whole numbers data types for each and every column. We're using whole numbers. So now you want to use column profile because it gives us the statistics of each and every column. So it will give us the maximum, minimum, average, standard deviation, and all that. So we'll use those statistics to fill in the null values, because these are cells, so we cannot have 0 cells within a particular month. If it was a single day, we'll understand, but these are whole month cells, so it cannot be 0 or null. So let's click on column quality. So column qualities gives us statistics and value distribution. So when you go to January, so you want to focus on where we have the empty values, where the empty values for January is 7%. So when we scroll down here, we have average as 35 to 42.7. So we can click on this cell now. So we'll replace that value with 32. So this is the average value, 32 to 42.7. So we'll click on the null value. I will go to home tab, then replace value. It was 32. Okay, let me just try to go back. Let me see the figures. 35 to 42.7. So we'll go back here. So we replace 35 to 42.7, 35 to 42.7. Then okay. Then again we go to so remember we are using whole number for data type, but now because I used 0.7, now it gives us the decimal point number. It then means that we'll change all the values to a decimal point number, so that we can have a uniform data sets, not fixed, but I want decimal point number. Decimal point number, replace current, yes. So it's only giving me 1, so let me just take it back to whole number type of data. Then let me go again to February. We also have null here. So first I'll go to data profiling. So the average here is 38 to 70, 38 to 31. So 38 to 30.7 is 38 to 31. So we'll come here and you want to see 38 to 31. So here is 38 to 31. 38 to 31. So that is a whole number, but it has changed to decimal point number. So again, let me change this to whole number. When I go to March is okay, April is okay. No, April we have a null value. So first I'll go to a column profile so that I get the average. So we have here 36 378, no, 36 379, 36 379. So this is 36 379. So that is whole number. Let's make it whole number values. Then we go to June. We also have empty value. So we'll come to June. We profile the column and get the average. So 34,153 for average, 34,153. This is 34,153. Then okay, so we have whole number data type. Then July is okay. Then we go to August. The profiling is the average is 33,566, 33,566, 33,566, 33,566. Then we replace. Then we move across. We have October. So we only have October. So October now, when we profile, we have so we must select the whole column first. So the average here is 37,823, 37,823. So we have 37. So we first click the cell, home tab, replace values. So we have 37,866. So now we have we've rectified all the errors, we filled in all the empty values, the null values. So now let's see if we profile the data, what happens. So now we have the column quality. So when we check on all the columns, we have the valid values as 100%, and then the data types also must be whole number. You have to be very consistent with the data types. Then when we go to column distribution, we can now see all the columns are giving column distribution. None is having where we don't have unique values and distinct values. So when we go to, there's this column that June column, where we have distinct values as 13 and then unique values as 12. So we say that distinct values are values in a column regardless of how many times each values appear, and then the unique values are values that appear once within a column. So these unique values, you have 12 values that appear once. So the 13 distinct, some are appearing, there's one that has appears twice. That's why we have the unique value being 12. In fact, yeah, there's one that has appeared twice. If not one, there should be two that has appeared twice. That's why we're having 12 unique values and 13 distinct, as opposed to having 14 distinct like other columns. So that's all about data profiling. So no, we've not finished. We have column profile. So let's take the column profile we see. So in each and every column, we should be having column statistics, the way we have them down here, and value distribution. So where we don't have value distribution and column statistics, with this all statistics, it means that that column has an error. So let's start with the first column for here. We have all the statistics and value distribution. The same applies to January. February is okay. March is okay. We have April is okay. May is okay. June is okay. March is okay. August is okay. September is okay. Then we go to October is also okay. November is okay. December is okay. But all in all, we've seen how we work with the data profiling tools, the column distribution, column quality, and column profile. So column quality gives you the valid errors, rather the valid values, error values, and empty values. Then column distribution will give you the distinct values and unique values. This is what we have in this, rather in each and every column. And then the column profile will give you the value distribution and column statistics. So from there, having cleaned your data and transformed, so you can take it back to you can load it to Power BI report, but our data is not it is not fully transformed, so we want to unpivot other columns. So now I can now untick these profiling tools. So I want to unpivot all these other columns so that we have a long data set as opposed to broad data set. I want to unpivot from January to December. January to December. So let me start with January, then up to December. So we right click and unpivot these columns. So we can rename these to months. These other two values or cells. So now you can see we have a long list of applied steps. So this is what has happened to arrive at the clean data set that now we have, so that this one can now load into Power BI. So if there is an error in your data set when you are doing the analysis, you can always come back to applied steps and check where there was an error, and you can change the error, or you can undo or delete some steps. So our data now is clean. We can now go to Home tab and click close and apply. So it will be loaded into our Power BI report. So we'll use it to build visuals and do further analysis. So that was all about data profiling. So when we come back, we'll talk about something else. So we can talk about referencing queries or advanced query capabilities within Power BI. So thanks a lot for watching, and let's meet again on the next video.